Advocate Ben Sihanya and constitutional lawyer Kamotho Waiganjo. It is one of those privileged moments when you get to host a teacher and student in studio. Good evening, gentlemen. Karibuni sana.
Good evening.
Even before we delve into the substantive issues that were before the Supreme Court, quick reactions to the pronouncement, the final verdict by the Supreme Court. Let's start with you, Professor Sihanya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ndimuli. This is a win for Kenyans and for those who believe in the fact that the Constitution is a living document and there is need for dynamism. It was going to be a very sad day, and the main question was actually whether Kenya's Constitution is amendable or not, whether the basic structure doctrine applies to Kenya, whatever that means, applies to Kenya or not, whether eternity clauses apply to Kenya, and the doctrine of unamendability of the Constitution. And the Supreme Court has been clear. It's as clear as they can. It's unanimous that the basic structure doctrine, of course, only Justice Ibrahim dissenting, but they are very clear that the basic structure doctrine doesn't apply to Kenya.
Yes. And
that means Kenyans can negotiate constitutional amendment now and into the future. I think that's the main message.
Yes.
So inawezekana.
Inawezekana.
Yes.
Okay. And Wakili Waiganjo, there's been a lot of confusion, and even your colleagues in the legal circles, they gave quick reactions on Twitter immediately after the verdict, and there was a lot of conflicting opinions on whether or not it means that the BBI has been thrown out or not. That confusion is what we are hoping to actually get rid of tonight. So your quick reaction on this?
Two general comments. One is that, Kenya, we take as natural what is phenomenal, which is phenomenal. In the last 3 years, we've had fundamental shaking decisions from the Supreme Court. One nullified a presidential election, hasn't been heard of in this part of the world. Today, a presidential process was stopped by the courts. That is major in Africa. It just says that as a democracy we're institutionalizing processes, and judges can go home and sleep tonight. In some jurisdictions not far from here, they would be in hiding. So that's number one. But at a different level, I think it's very useful for the court to have given a decision that the entire political establishment, even those one can say lost, are agreeable with, especially as we head towards the presidential petition in September, because there will be a petition. And you do not want to go into that petition with one side of the political divide saying the court is compromised. So in a sense, this was very wise for the Supreme Court to bring the political establishment together in affirming the decision of the court. Of course, in terms of substance, most of the issues that the court made a decision on, many of them were very progressive. What the professor says is true. The basic structure question was one of the most dangerous decisions by the High Court and the Court of Appeal, because what it did was take away the sovereignty of the people and give it to the courts, and say the courts will be the ones to determine what is amendable and what is unamendable. That is not good for the Constitution.
And of course, to the common mwananchi, whenever we see a court process, we believe there is going to be a winner and a loser at the end of the day. But looking at Twitter and looking at some of the top lawyers and their reaction to this on Twitter, it leaves us even more confused. Otiende Amolo, for example, says reggae is back on immediately after elections. Donald B. Kipkorir says BBI constitution fails on only one ground, initiated by the president. It therefore means that between now and August, fresh promoters can dust up the bill, remove part relating to constituencies, and run with it successfully. Mutahi Nguni, not necessarily a lawyer, but also a political commentator, says, summary, reggae is back. Its main impediment was a doctrine of basic structure. This leaves us even more confused, and we'll be looking at this as well as the substantive issues at the end, tail end of this broadcast. Let's take a break right now. When we come back, we'll have more news on the BBI and a lot more.